All right, from the studios in Fairfax City, we are very grateful that Eloi Ragot accepted our invitation to our show. Eloi, welcome to my humble podcast.
Thank you, Claudio. It's a pleasure.
Sure, no, the pleasure is mine as well. Let's go back to the beginning in your life. How did you get into music before film composing? I mean, were you born like in a musical family? Were records at home back in the day? Your parents?
Kinda. My parents didn't play any instruments, but they were like big music fan. Hearing lots of. My mother was a Beatles fan, so I would say like rock and some folks and something like this. My father was more into classical and at the same time like French chanson. So yeah, we always had like lots of music at home. And then my big brother started playing piano and clarinet for later on when I was already quite little, and I kind of liked this, and so we had a piano at home, and I think I started like playing also a bit of the piano that we had, like an e-piano, Yamaha e-piano, but it was already quite interesting. And then at some point, I think I was around 10, I just picked up the guitar of my uncle and I started to learn by myself also, just to play random things and some songs I recognize on the radio or things like this. So, and for I think many years I just like learned music by myself, like the piano, guitar, and I had like different bands in high school. I was quite into rock and metal, and I was like playing guitar and singing and really enjoying it. And later on, I actually went to an engineering school, university, and from that moment, I wanted also to expand a bit my musical universe, and I took the trumpet, and that's the first instrument I really learned by going to the conservatoire, because I thought you cannot really learn the trumpet by yourself because of the breathing techniques and everything. And I did enjoy it a lot, and I also played in like jazz bands, and we did like covers of Miles Davis and everything, and so I was really into jazz, and at the same time I also wanted to have like to pick up an instrument where you can just like play one note at a time, so monophonic, comparing to guitar and the piano, and so it was a different approach, also like to create like nice melodies, and I really enjoyed that. And it's just like later on, as I was still as an engineering student, I had like an exchange student program, and I got to live in the US like for a quarter. I lived like 4 months in Philadelphia, and one of those big it was Drexel University, and it was like those big American university where within the same university you have like lots of different fields, and so I got to hang out with like lots of foreign students, all different fields. And one of my kind of best friend at that time was like an Australian director, and she was also there as an exchange student, just doing like a month. And for these few months, she had to create a short film, and we were hanging out a lot, and we were going to concert together, and so we had like this music passion that we shared. And so she asked me to actually go for a short film. And that's something I really discovered at that point. I'd never thought about like film scoring. I think I'm like a huge music fan. It was like really my life, and at the same time, I was like a cinema fan. But I'd never like really realized that those two passions could come together into film music. And just like by doing this, just like it was like just a song. It was not even really like original music. It was original music, but I mean, it was the source music that I had to play. So I had like to write this kind of cheesy, folky song like from the 60s. But I loved the collaboration with her, with the director, and just like exchanging ideas, the ping pong of ideas. And I would send this music, she would give me this feedback, I would rework this. And I thought, yeah, why not? Why not try to do some more? And then so after that 4 months in the US, I went back to Berlin to start working as an engineer, in fact. But I had this idea that I wanted to do more music for film. So aside from my daily job, I would just contact lots of film students there's like lots of very nice film schools in Berlin, like both private and public. and I was just like sending emails and emails, and just like when they were putting some ads sometime on the website, they were looking for someone to edit their film, and I was just like sending them emails anyway and just asking, have you thought about the music? If you're looking for someone to edit the music, the pictures, maybe next you will need a composer. And it quite worked pretty well, because I think in 3 to 4 years I got to work on 35 short films. And,
Wow.
it was amazing. It was I had like the time of my life, just like in so many different genres, and they were really like low budget things and student films, at least at the beginning, at least for the few first ones, and then it got a bit more professional. But it was it was meeting so many people, so many creative people, so many passionate people about film, and so I had like lots of interesting discussions, and I kind of noticed that I wanted to do more and maybe to try to do this on a professional level. So I first started to reduce my day job, my engineering job, to an 80%, and then finally I quit when I had one occasion to live abroad, to go to Belgium. And I just said, okay, let's try not to take a new job as an engineer, just to do music films for real. And then, I was really, really lucky to just meet the right people at the right time. Because for Belgium at that point, I think it was like 2013, they were a bit late on the series game. Like every other countries in Europe were doing big series, and it was really the hype thing. And Belgium thought, okay, we have to do something also, like we have to create our own series and not just like broadcast the one from France or from other countries. And so they started a new funding dedicated to series. And somehow I met one director and one producer. They were looking for people to work on this first series that they from the fund. And they were just like nice people and kind enough to give me a chance, because I had worked just on short films so far, and they gave me the opportunity to score 10 times 1 hour series, and it's going to be to prime time in Belgium only, but who knows? And so it was the best, and actually it was really quite quick. Quite big success. It was like the first Belgian series to be bought by Netflix, and at that time Netflix was really picky, so it was a bit more. It was a bit different, and definitely it started like for me like sort of.
Good for you. In general, when somebody, a director or student or a producer, get a hold of you, what does the preparation look like for you in a new movie? Let's say I want to hire you. I have a little bit of script. I'm working. I'm getting the finance. What do you need from me in order for you to start thinking about the type of movie that it is, and what type of music? It's like a drama. It's electronic music. It's more dark music. I mean, what's the preparation looks like at the beginning?
I think it depends a lot on who's contacting me, but also when. I think whether the film or the series has been already shot, or it's just a script stage. And luckily, I really like to work on a script, and I'm being now contacted a lot at the script stage.
Yeah.
And then the inspiration comes really from the words, from the script, but also like definitely from sort of deep collaboration and deep building a trust with the director. Try to understand why he or she contacted me, not someone else. So what did they enjoy in my previous work, if they're familiar with it, what they're looking for in terms of colors, in terms of atmospheres, in terms of and more importantly, how the music will work in the film. What's the role for the music? Is it really to just like enhance the emotions? Is it like a character that will also like will just like tell the story in another way? And so I think that's definitely what will give me some direction, is the director. Sometimes it's also a producer, but like the kind of owners of the project. Yeah.
Gotcha. Do you prefer to, once you have some rapport and you have worked with, a particular director, you like to keep on working with the same director because they already you establish a relationship and they know your work, or you prefer to, keep on changing different directors?
I do like both, but and I enjoy working with people a few times a lot. Especially so the series I mentioned, the first series I worked on was The Break. There were 3 directors, and not only we got to do a second season of this series, but then we did another series, I think 2 years ago for Arte. And then now they're also working. The 3 of them are working also on their own project. So one is preparing a feature, and another one a documentary. And I realized, it's a very special bond that we have because we've been working on those 3 projects together. And I think we know each other, but we know also how to communicate better. I think it's one of the biggest, one of the most difficult thing is to find a common language, because music is just it's nothing you can really touch. It's nothing you can. So you try to put words on it, but then some people would say, "I want the music to be more blue," and you have to know what they mean by blue and what kind of blue. And I think the more you work with someone, and the more you get to know what kind of words they will use and how and then how it can translate into your music. And I think with them 3. I definitely created this thing where I know what they want, what kind of universe they have in mind, what kind of films they like, and it helps a lot in collaboration. So I enjoy then going a bit deeper. Then once I know what they want, we don't lose any time trying to get the communication right, but we can discuss a bit more about the story and dramaturgical elements of the project. Whereas sometimes with new director, I do lose quite some time to get to know them, to understand what they want and how we would communicate. And sometimes it can take some weeks. And on a project where, for example, for feature film, I will maybe work 2 or 3 months. It can be a lot to have to spend most of the time just getting to know each other, and then to recreate the music. So definitely. But at the same time, then it's really interesting to see how different directors are and how they will ask for different things, but also in a different way. And so it's very exciting also always to work with someone else, someone new, definitely.
What's the time frame that you are given from, a serial, Netflix, a documentary, a movie, a TV show, whatever? What's the time frame that you're given? Because I imagine that you're working in 3 or 4 projects at the same time, right? So they are giving you enough time for you to, I don't know, a month or whatever it happens to be, for you to show a little bit and with direction before you go too deep, right? Because you can spend a couple weeks and the director say, no, I don't like this stuff, So what's the time frame that you are given to work in a new project?
Again, I think it depends a lot, but for the series, I think I mostly worked on series where they were 6 episodes of 1 hour. Sometimes only 3. At the beginning was more 10, but this format tends, I think, to disappear now. And for let's say a series of 6 episodes of 1 hour, definitely I will start a few months before the shoot. But as you say, definitely I have many projects at the same time. Maybe not 3 or 4. I try to reduce to 2 or maybe 3, because otherwise it can be a bit hard to manage. But I do like to have at least 2 projects at the same time, because then whenever I get stuck on one project, I go to the other, and then I go back.
And then you go back to catch.
fresh eyes, and it's very useful. So I like to have at least two, and most of the time it's maybe three if there's a short film coming or something like this. So definitely, yeah, I work a few months before the shoot, but then like not 100%. I will just like take my time to really get to know the project, or read the scripts a few times, discuss with the director, and then during the shoot I will also continue, and then after the shoot it depends, but I think maybe there's like 6 months, I would say. If, yeah. So at the moment I'm working on a German series, and they shot the series in this summer, and we're supposed to finish the music in March somewhere. So definitely like 6-7 months. So yeah, that's the ideal. But then sometimes yeah, it's really complicated. And for example, on this project I'm working on, I didn't get really approved by the channel, for example, and I didn't get a contract until November. So I had to start in November. So I definitely reduced my time, and that's why I had this idea of involving a friend of mine, and now we're doing this together, and I'm really happy because it's so like very rich to work with someone else, and it's a good friend of mine, so it's actually a good opportunity to test this friendship on a big project like this. It's quite a nice series. Yeah.
Good for you. In general, when you're working with, like a big time directors or whatever, do you conduct your own film score, or other conductor, or you like other conductors supervise the recording, or you do everything on your own? When you compose music, you wanna direct it, compose it, and then release it. You do everything your own, or you other people are involved in the process as well?
No, I definitely involve lots of people.
Yeah.
For everything, I'll say. Again, depending on a project, I think on a bigger project,
In a big project, right?
I have one friend of mine doing the orchestration,
Okay, yeah.
one friend of mine conducting the orchestra. Sometimes it's the same. I have two people I would go to for orchestration. One can conduct, the other one no. So depending on availability or the kind of project, I will conduct one or another. But I'm definitely not trained to conduct an orchestra. It's something I've never done. But maybe, yeah, who knows? Maybe sometimes I definitely like working with orchestras, and
Yeah.
I'm also interested, yeah, in the contact with the musicians. So why not at some point? But for now, no, I'll always delegate this. And then on smaller projects, I would, for example, take the time to do all the orchestration myself, and have just like someone doing the copy. So like actually, yeah, creating the parts for the musicians. But again, I wouldn't conduct even a few musicians. But I'm definitely here I am in the recording room whenever possible. If we record in Belgium, for example, if we do record, I work a lot with an orchestra named Budapest Art Orchestra, and I've been there I think once or twice, but definitely not flying over each time. So then they will organize everything to do it remote, and they're a very nice team, and it works really fine. It's really nice.
And then when all the pieces are ready, coming back for the conductor, the other people that you hire, you are the person putting everything together in terms of the mixing and mastering. You do yourself, or you hire someone else to do the mastering. What do you prefer?
For the mixing, it depends. Like everything which is not non-orchestral work, I would definitely mix it myself.
Yeah.
So most of my work is quite. I would now maybe half of my work is electronic, and also like with lots of guitars, like guitar being my primary instrument, I think. And I would definitely produce everything in my own studio, and also mix it myself because I know the material best, and I definitely do enjoy mixing. And then depending on the kind of orchestration an orchestra, whether there's woodwinds or not, I would definitely mix maybe some of the cues myself, but then I tend to also like hire a mixer for bigger projects, and depending also on the format, if it's for the TV or if it's the cinema, and also like then it gets technical, but I cannot like mix in 5.1 for example. So definitely, if I do need to 5.1, I would delegate to an external studio. But it's maybe half. And then I have for the release, I would definitely work with labels. We mentioned ARD in the UK. They're very nice people, and I've worked with them a few times, and I really enjoy their collaboration. It's very smooth, and they do a great job at just putting it out there. I used to work with movie score media, so some labels that would definitely get my score into an album, so it flows really like a music album from a non-score artist. Yeah.
Gotcha. I got you. And I noticed when I was going over to your biography, since 2008, you have composed, arranged, and produced music for over 50 films. That's very impressive, man.
Yeah, thanks. I guess within those 50 films, you have lots of series.
Sure.
I've scored a few feature films, but I think not even 10. But I did work on 10 to 15 series, I think. So, as I said, I think I was really lucky to meet those directors working on the break. And it was just the beginning of the fund in Belgium. And then, so it's been a bit more than 10 years now. They've produced many nice series. I worked on a few of them, and also being also half German and understanding and speaking German, I got to also work on things in Germany. So one thing led to another, definitely.
Do you currently, based on your experience and the number of years you've been doing this, do you go after more project, a different director, or a lot of work come your way based on your reputation and based on what you have done in the past?
I think it's maybe 50-50 again.
Gotcha. Right.
Maybe I'm maybe a bit more contacted than I do contact myself. I do have an agent now since years. Actually, I've like a few I'm in contact with also depending on the territories. But I have like one main agent doing my work, especially for Belgium and the Benelux. And she definitely also she has like lots of contacts with like music supervisors, and so she will get asked sometimes to just like suggest a few composers for a new series, and I might be one of them, and then the producers or the directors might choose me, and definitely happened like this a few times in the past, and also like maybe like 50% of the project I'm working on are directors I used to work with. Like there's some directors I've worked a few times again with, and finally also like I do meet lots of people in film festivals, just sometimes like randomly at parties or cocktails, but also there are like few festivals in Europe where they invite you to apply, and then they will try to connect you with directors looking for musicians, and they do it in a very nice way that they will send you the script that the directors are working on, and you can do some demos, some mock-ups of the music you think would fit for the project, and then you get to meet the director and sometimes also the producer in a sort of speed dating in 1 hour, and then other composers will also meet them, and if there's like a good feeling and the music is right, then it can definitely lead to be hired by them, and that's also a way I got to also work on on some feature films, like the two Canadian feature films I've done in the past. Were this, and then sometimes it's just like randomly, like we discussed also like this US documentary I worked on last year, or maybe 2 years ago now, called One with the Whale. And there's actually two directors based in New York that just like discovered my music on Spotify, just the music from Trêve, from the break, so from 10 years ago, and they just like loved that one track, and they started editing the movie with this track, and then they took another one from me, and then suddenly I was over the timeline of the movie, and they just thought, okay, let's try and contact that guy and see if he would be interested in scoring the movie. And we had lots of discussion, and they had like a very interesting and very unique documentary. So definitely, I was really happy to be on board now.
Gotcha. How, in general terms, how do you manage when, well, there is the film director, right? Then the producer, the people working with money, they hire you to, and things are not going along. The director like your music, but the guy putting the money or the producer say, no, the music is terrible, or vice versa. People, you send 2 tracks, they don't like it, you send another 2 and say no. How you, because everything is sometimes over the phone, right? Over Zoom like this, or you send the file, they get back to you. How you manage that complexity in the real world when you are not in the same room, right, with the producer or in general terms, right? People scream at you or you scream at them. How you they are paying you to do the job, right? So
always
manage that.
People, I think it's never had to deal with people with lots of screaming.
Crazy people.
But sometimes it definitely differences of views and opinions. And I remember like a German series I worked on a few years ago. It was my first project for the first channel in Germany, and so far I had worked on lots of series for Netflix or for Belgium. But it was always a small team of talking to one director that would then report maybe to his her producer, and then suddenly like this German thing, it was like we had like calls every week, and there was like one music supervisor, the director, there was 2 producers, there was the involved, and there was someone taking notes, and so it was like a big Zoom meeting of 7-8 people. And we were discussing every cue and every music I've made, and there was, for example, some flutes, and then half of the people would hate the flute, and the other would just love it, and it made something interesting and different. And so you discuss, and you try new things. You try to replace the flute by something else, and show them what the difference is, and why I chose the flute. And so I think I'm not really into trying to solve everything with words, because I think the music speaks by itself. So I think whenever there's like discussions about music which is right or wrong, then definitely I would go back to this cue and suggest something else, maybe to go back to the initial proposal. But I think it's really nice to have some things to discuss. I think especially like before doing any music, I tend to create something quite quick, so we have something really tangible, because then otherwise we can talk for weeks, and we think we understand each other, and we can have this kind of music, and it's gonna be blue, and it's gonna be melancholic, and then I create something, and then it's not what they meant by melancholy or by something bluish. So I think it's always good to have like something to hear, and then we can discuss a bit what we hear and what it makes to the story and to the pictures. But no, never had like lots of big arguments. And I also try now. I think I've worked on some projects where I had to report to different people, so to one director and one producer, and sometimes they wouldn't agree, and it was quite a nightmare to make them agree. but at the same time, it was not. They had to like make a decision and tell me, okay, who should I trust, or who is the person like having the final decision on it.
Sure.
And now I try to always ask at the beginning of project, okay, who's gonna decide, who am I gonna talk to, and to see what's the chain of command. Yeah.
Got it. Otherwise, it become very complicated if so many people are making decisions. Right? In general, do you listen to I don't know, other composers, film score at all, like I don't know, Hans Zimmer or John Williams or Ennio Morricone, just to mention a few, or you think that those may influence you when you have an upcoming project and you've been listening to a lot of, I don't know, Hans Zimmer music, and in the background and subconsciously there's that type of music, and or you don't worry about it. You listen to a lot of different music independent of the project that you're working on.
Yeah, I do listen to lots of music, all kind, not only soundtracks, definitely more things than soundtrack, but I go to the movies also as well a lot. So I'm hearing also like the music in the movie, and sometimes I just like listen to music to other movies I will not watch. I do like to follow, I think, a few composers I like. Also like random, maybe newcomers. And definitely I think it is influencing me somehow, and I don't really maybe notice, but I think it's maybe the beauty of it also, like creating music.
Yeah.
It's you cannot create without being influenced by anything. I think what makes maybe like a music like very original and very special. It's when you're influenced by other music, but then maybe something else than music, like maybe a personal life or some other kind of art will influence your creation. Because otherwise, if you're of course like just influenced by other composers, then it's like a mix of things. But yeah, we do. Yeah, well, I think we all do without noticing. Like repeat what others have done in the past, and I think it's completely normal. But what I don't do, I think, is if I work on a new project, and for example, I don't know, it's a crime series, and the detective one, and I know like okay, this composer has worked on a detective series. I will not like listen to what he's done. And
I got it. Yeah, I got it.
Maybe like not to be influenced too much, to like to come up with fresh ideas and not like to go into this alley of this is the kind of music that's suitable for a detective series. I think we put like series in genres quite easily and quite too quick maybe, and if the music is also like following, then it would not help like every project to be a bit more original and unique, and maybe to allow that for a crime series to have the music it's really not dark, it's like more like positive, and for this I think for any new dedicated project I will not do the research to try to see what other composers have done in similar projects.
Gotcha. When let's say when you go to the movies with your wife or your friend, whatever, are you always listening to the music, obviously, and at the end you say, "Man, that was a great movie, but terrible music. The keys were not there. They was too loud, too low. The music didn't match the film, or vice versa." You like the music. You look at the composer with that person, and the music was terrible, and the film was terrible, and so were you. Are you always, since you're a film composer, you're always listening to what a new person is doing, and imagine that if you don't know that person, you will go home and check it out. See what else he or she had done, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think most of the time I already know who's composing. Enjoying because I quite but sometimes it's the opposite. Like recently I've seen a movie called We Live in Time. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a very nice, quirky and modern fairy tale and story. But it's the music was also like super nice and was a bit like bigger than the movie. I was thinking like that it was. So it was sometimes, it's not. I think I enjoyed the music even more than the movie somehow. So I think it's.
That's good. Yeah.
I do notice the music. I think more than than composer people, because I definitely know how it works, and so each time I see some scenes, and then also like going from one scene to another, or some time lapse and everything. I think my mind definitely a bit like calculates and see how it works, and so I think I can remember after watching a movie, I can remember quite good where there were music and what kind and how it worked, because I got used to the thing, to the film scoring thing.
Yeah.
But sometimes I do I'm surprised that not to realize much and to be really into the movie, and so it's always nice to see how every movie has a different approach when in regards to film music. Definitely.
I don't know if you had the opportunity to see the movie that came out by Christmas, Nosferatu.
No.
No, oh, the music is very good, man. If you have the opportunity.
I've listened a bit to the music, but I'm not a big horror fan, and I've heard quite bloody, so I'm not sure it's something on me. But maybe I will watch it on TV.
The music. Okay, so it's very good. I mean, the film, not just the music, but the director and cinematography. Whether you like the topic or not, is, in my opinion, that's very well done. And so if you had the opportunity to watch that, and I didn't know who was the composer. He's not a famous person. I mean, he hasn't done that much work in the past, I think. So I reach out to him to see if we can conduct an interview, and he hasn't done much work, but the music in general, I really like it. That was very well done. In general, when somebody hire you for a new project, a new director you haven't worked, how many times you need to see the movie, or perhaps the movie is not well done yet or not finished, before you can begin formulating an idea of what type of style the composer would like to do. I mind that is the more you have it from, right? The more time you say before start guessing, right? With the director, and you can short the more they can give you, right? The faster you can align your ideas versus what the director or producer is looking for in you, right? So
I think the time is a big thing. The more time and more I can have the capacity to really look into okay, what's good for the movie, and to try lots of things. I think if I work on a new film and if it already received a picture, I wouldn't automatically watch it a few times before starting with the music. Sometimes it's the first time, and maybe I think always I watch it for the first time, and I'm already like behind my piano, or I have my guitar, depending on maybe on a project where I already know, okay, it's going to be like some guitars, or maybe it's going to be like piano, or maybe some electronic instruments, to directly to see, because I think you just like get one chance to see the movie for the first time. So I want to capture definitely how I feel when I see this movie for the first time, because then when you release it and it's done, people will also watch it maybe a few times, but it's mostly like one time, and so I think it's like the first feelings are quite good, and then I do watch it a few times, but then I try not to watch it too many times, because then you get used to certain things, and so you don't question them, and also like you're starting to see maybe some kind of details that nobody will notice anyway. So I think definitely I watch it once, and I start just improvising on it, and then maybe I will work on what I've done aside of the pictures, and then try to see if it's right. then it depends a lot on project. I'm also like preparing now for a feature film. It's a friend of mine that we've met a long time ago, and we wanted to work together because she has like a very nice art house universe. And finally we found this project to work on, and she sent me like already like the pictures a few months ago, a few weeks ago, and I want to find the time to have like really the time to focus on this. And but I know the script so well because she already sent me the script maybe a year ago. So I've read it a few times. That I've already like started to create some music for it. And I had this idea that I will not watch the whole movie, but I will just like to take pictures of it. So I just scroll down the movie, and then at 10 different points, I just randomly like choose 10 points in a movie, took a screenshot, and now I have those 10 images of the movie,
Oh,
and
I see. Yeah.
I know how they relate to the story because I've read the script, and it's just like give me some idea of the movie, but without seeing how it really looks like. Because I quite like to be in this middle and to really work on the atmosphere and the words, but not exactly the whole pictures. Because I find the pictures sometimes to be a bit too overwhelming and to be too powerful, and it's really hard sometimes once you've seen the pictures to get rid of those pictures in your mind and to create something which is based on the story and not just like repeating what's already on screen. That's why I like to start on the script so much, because I see it like I often say I see it like a tree. Like the script is really like the trunk, is really the base, and then if I do music on this and then they will shoot also according to the script, they might go to another direction. They might create some branches there, and I will create branches there. But because the base is the same, it will make this beautiful tree where it's all interpretations, but we all interpreted like the words, and so it's all the same basis and put together. There's the story is here, it's the same story, but with different view, different angles. Whereas when I wait for the pictures, then I will just like create something which is already the interpretation of the words, and sometimes you can lose some core meaning, find of the story. So I would definitely always go back to the script, even if I have the pictures, and try first to create music out of this. And sometimes it doesn't work out. The pictures are so different from what I've imagined, or so far away, because there's like a very unique direction. Then the music is not fitting. But then I will work on the picture. So it's one shot just to do something more original. And if it's not working, then definitely the pictures will guide me. Yeah.
I got you, and I understand completely. In general, looking back in your life, what, if you could mention three composers that would you say that have inspired you the most? Anyone in particular that you say, man, I go back to, I don't know, Ennio Morricone because I like the guy, but or John Williams or whatever, anyone in particular, well known or not well known, that make a big impact on you?
Yeah, the first name I always have to think about is Johan Johansson.
Okay.
Yeah, it's such a big loss that that is not here anymore, because I think it was such
unbelievable, out of this world. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, it gave me every time I listen to his music. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
I think he has a really unique angle, and I find his music so much humanity and so much exploration.
Yeah.
Mood and feeling exploration. It's very existential music, and he achieved to apply this personality in all the projects, and there's really I don't like from him. And what he's done for Arrival, for example, what is the theory of everything, and he was to me he was really a complete artist because he had a vision, he had a sound, he had melodies and very interesting textures. So I found it really inspiring, and I never got to meet him, but he seemed to be very humble and very a nice person. I don't know, yeah. And then I don't know. Lately, I've been a big fan of Johnny Greenwood, and it's also like related to my childhood because I grew up being a big fan of Radiohead, and I remember analyzing all their songs, and I always found it so interesting in the form, in the rhythmic, and in everything, the structure of the songs, and definitely very indie. And I feel like Johnny Greenwood also found it also his way to do something also very unique and different. And I remember like the score for The Power of the Dog being really something I enjoyed a lot. And I also did some research and realized, okay, he also worked on the music before the shoot, and the shot with the music, and yeah, he had like some nice idea of techniques, like playing the cello as a guitar, being a guitar player himself, and so it's I think it's very inspiring in terms of creativity, in terms of okay, let's go beyond what's expected in terms of sounds and techniques and instrumentations. So definitely Johnny Greenwood. Then and then so many other people. I don't know.
Don't worry. There's so many out there.
And for the big ones, I think also. So when I started like doing my first like my first short films, and realizing it could be something for me, I realized that when I was a child in the 80s and early 90s, I was a big movie fan, and all the movies I liked were like the music was really big and important, and so it was of course like the music from John Williams, from James Horner a lot, with like no, don't remember the movie, but played a big role. Willow played a big role in also in my life, I think. So, and it was like Back to the Future. So all the 80s, I think all those composers that were quite big in the 80s, I've definitely like
maybe now you're living in Berlin, maybe you have the opportunity to meet Bernard Herzog, and his and the music. A lot of the music was composed by Popol Vuh. I don't know if you like the band, but it's very moody and good music. It's a lot of great music out there, man. So
it was really moody. I think definitely it's the right word to it was definitely quite emotional. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And how, in general, when the budgets are coming down for films and for music in general, the amount that is allocated for music is shrinking and shrinking. In general terms, how difficult is for you to make a living as a film composer? Because it's not that you're getting a paycheck every 2 weeks like I do, right? I work for a company, and your case only get money coming in because when there's work coming in, right? So otherwise, you can know you're poor.
Exactly. No, it's tricky. I think it's tricky to handle, and it's definitely I noticed like, especially as I come from I quit like a well-paid engineering job to work as a musician. So I know how it used to be and how comfortable it was to just like have a paycheck every month. But at the same time, I've been quite lucky to work on lots of projects, and I think it's definitely that makes it a quite good living. It's like working a lot. I do work on lots of projects at the same time. I think it was like last winter that I had like a few weeks for the first time since I started working professionally on film music, I had a few weeks with no project. And it was the first time in more than 10 years. So I'm just like always working, and I do take vacation, and I can say, okay, I will be out of my office or my studio for 2 weeks or more in the summer. But it's not that I don't have like work to do, and I have it on my mind. So it's also like it's definitely more than a job where you just like go maybe like from 8 to 17 every day from Monday to Friday. And it's also like, yeah, lots of times where I just have like 1 or 2 projects, and maybe it's a short film and another series I have time to work on. So it's quite okay to work just like from Monday to Friday, and also to have time for other things. And then there are moments like like a bit like right now where I have to work almost every evening, and then sometimes on the weekends. And so it's also like the balance is quite hard to find. But it's, yeah, I think it's definitely the way to make it as a composer if you want to earn a decent living, because otherwise, yeah, exactly, with the shrinking budget, I could not just say no to half of the project I've been approached for. I have to accept them, and yeah, I'm lucky enough to. It's also a very, very nice project I want to work on, so it's not an issue. But
Sure.
the scheduling is it's a bit tricky, and it's nothing. There's not much you can do. So it's hard work. It's definitely hard work. And for the moment, yeah, the budget on the projects, and then also like the royalties I can get from TV, and definitely is enough. But I'm like worried about the future, like with the TV slowly disappearing, and everything being online, and the royalties online being very, very poor, very, very small, and comparing to what we used to from the TVs. So I'm definitely also trying to also see how I can what I could do to maybe have a certain way of earning money with music. So maybe being a teacher, maybe a producer produce for other people, or I don't know. Yeah.
Gotcha. I got you. Good for you. I understand. I was listening to the music last night for One with the Whale, right? I think that is the second record you have worked with Aerodale Records. And it was released, I think, recently in June 2024. It's a very, very good story. It's very, very interesting, very good music, man. Good for you, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was
yeah.
But now that I remember, I think they first contacted me, I think it was 2020. So I think we started to work on this project like a few years ago, at least 2021, but like 4 or 5 years ago. And they were those American directors that just found me on Spotify, and they didn't think I would say yes. So they were just like, sending an email, if you have time, but they were really polite and very nice.
Yeah.
But I found the idea without reading much more than just like a synopsis. I was thinking, wow, that's something very unique. So they're following like a family in Alaska.
Yeah.
They are still like traditionally hunting whales. And so the father is a big whale hunter, and is training his son to be the new hunter. And it's really a thing they do to survive on this island, and then cold and everything. And if they do get a whale, they have enough food for 6 months for the whole community. And so
correct. Yeah.
There's lots of traditions and around this, and they were also like emphasizes on the way they live really like cut from the world. So they got just electricity, I think, in the 70s. They got internet like very late also, and now like they on social media since a few years just. But it's really important for them the way they connect and exchange. So it's really interesting to see how they're open to the world, and they connect, but like remotely with it. And so it's a heartbreaking story, family story, and at the same time it speaks about us and in general. So it's a very, very nice one. And I really liked why they chose like this one track that they liked from me from the break. They had like very, very interesting textures, and then worked quite with the snow and everything somehow. Although it was not really a snowy music, I don't know. It made something a bit special, a bit magical, and so we had like lots of discussion about this. And then, I worked for a few months on this, and then they had to stop and to reshoot, and it took us a few years to finish it, and also for them, I think it was quite, because it's so controversial to hunt whales. It was quite difficult for them to really have like channels on board and producers. And they had like to go back to the people on the island and to have their support, because they were, I think, really criticized for like doing a movie on those people. And I think the channels and the financiers didn't understand that they were really doing this with them or quasi from them. And so finally, like the people from the island co-produced the movie. And it was like a certainty that the movie was really respectful of the community. And then suddenly, PBS was on board, and so they released it on Earth Day last year, and it was quite the feedback is really good, and he also he went on big festivals and won lots of prizes. So finally, he could like really shine, and I was really happy for them, because they've done like an amazing job in shooting by those I don't know, minus 40 degrees. And
that's right. Yeah. The music is great, and the story is it's great. I wanna, hopefully Airedale may send me the record or a CD so I can keep it in my collection. And the other one that I really like is a recent one you did. It's from January 2024, right? So exactly a year ago. I don't know how to pronounce it, but in English will be Inside a Family. Haus of Glas, right?
Half of Glas.
Yeah, it's I haven't not seen the series, but many times, actually, the majority of the time, I listen to film score. I put my headphone before seeing the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, before going to the. Usually, the film score is released about the same time or a little before, so I can listen to the film score without reading or seeing the movie. By listening to the music with my headphone and a glass of wine or a beer, I try to imagine what the movie is about. Right? Sometimes I'm wrong. Right? Sometimes it got nothing to do with what I envisioned, but just for exercise, for my own pleasure, and it's a very good, very very good music as well, man.
Okay, thank you very much. That's actually the project I mentioned where they wanted to get rid of the flutes. And
really,
yeah, it's part of the sound identity. I think it's in the main titles.
Yeah.
And I think the main idea was, so it's like it's a drama with some comedy in it, but it's mostly a drama, and it's also like deals with like past and child traumas, and at the same time everything is around a wedding, because it's like it's a family of three sisters and a brother, and they don't really, they're grown up, and they don't really talk to each other. One of them, Emily, is getting married, so for the wedding they all go back together to the house of their parents, and they have to deal with the communication, the miscommunication over the years. And so it's all about the wedding and the summer. So it's really light and colorful, and at the same time it's a very there's like some traumas surfacing and coming back to the surface. And I think quite quickly I was thinking, maybe let's have some clarinets and flutes, just to contrast with the otherwise quite deep electronic score and some strings, but mostly like quite dark, and to have to keep this balance of the core of the story, which is like quite light and quite bright in the pictures, but in fact quite dark. Yeah, with lots of secrets.
Yeah, got you. The last question, feel free to mention your website or Bandcamp, where viewer of this podcast can go ahead and buy your music, get a signed CD or signed vinyl or whatever you have on your website. Feel free to mention that.
Yeah, I think you'll find me on most online platforms, just with my first name and name. I have also a website. I have to update it. I think it's maybe, but it's also first name, last name.
Gotcha. And I will put the link there as well. So yeah,
that's nice of you.
No problem, man. It was very nice talking to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hopefully, when I'm in Berlin one day, we can get together for a beer or pizza or whatever.
Come to Berlin, yeah.
Yeah, and it was very nice talking to you. Good luck to you, man. Your music is great. You're doing great work, and I wish you good luck with upcoming projects and and do well in life, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Merci beaucoup. Danke as well.
Gracias.
Thank you. Take it easy, man.